Hi everyone, Leo is here with another Jumpstart Lightning episode. We are continuing our RBox Nuts and Bolts video series, and today I have Laura with me to talk to me everything that is monitoring inside RBox and all the cool stuff that she did for this solution. So stay tuned. Hi everyone, Leo is here, and this is another Jumpstart Lightning episode. We are continuing RBox Nuts and Bolts video series, and today I have Laura with me. Laura, how are you doing?
Hi, all good.
Yeah, so Laura, you and I, it's no secret, we've been working together for a while. You've been part of the original, you've been an original member of the Jumpstart project since we started this more than 2 years ago. How's everything?
All good. Been working on the Jumpstart for a while now, and now this our box and workbook is another take on the Jumpstart. So great to share with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working obviously on Arbox for a while. We did multiple flavors already, and this is the new one with the DevOps flavor, which we're going to talk about today. But first thing first, Laura, before we are kicking off the episode, you've been involved in many things inside the Jumpstart, but for Arbox, you've been focusing solely on the monitoring experience. So, and I wanted you to share maybe with our audience, what was the thought process going into creating all the monitoring solutions that we're going to show in a minute here.
Yeah, absolutely. So as part of our box, we want to share the full experience of what Arc has to offer for our servers, Kubernetes, data. So you have a full idea of what it means and what it allows you to do. And one big part of what Arc has to offer is unified operations. So giving you that single pane of glass, giving you the
Mhm.
opportunity to see all of your resources independently if they're running in Azure, in other clouds, or on premises. It doesn't matter that you have full visibility of things like inventory, alerts, security threats, and things like that in one single place. That's the Azure portal. And that's the main goal that we had with the workbook, to give you that unified operations experience and that you're able to see what you can do once your resources are part of Azure.
And we developed this work, or we started to develop this workbook, obviously at the beginning of RBox when we only had the full flavor of RBox, and then we came out with RBox 2.0, which was, part of the enhancements for RBox 2.0 that we launched back in January, and now with the new flavor of DevOps, is to creating those workbooks that gives you that unified operation thing that we're saying that Arc is offering, and really what you did is taking the buzzwords and bring those into reality and just kind of show how things look like. So I think that at this point, Laura, show me the magic. Like let's take a look how things look like.
Okay, so first of all, I'm here in the resource group where I have all of the resources that are deployed as part of RBox for DevOps.
Hmm.
And as you can see, I have all of the resources, the Arc-enabled Kubernetes clusters, the different VMs that are part of the clusters that we
Hmm.
Arc-enabled. But also as part of it, we have not only those resources, but we also have Log Analytics Workspace that we have here, and as well as solutions that are deployed on top of it, like security, Defender, update management, VM
Hmm.
insights. So on top of this Log Analytics Workspace, we also have a bunch of solutions that give you additional insights on those logs.
Hmm.
Also, as part of that Log Analytics Workspace, at the very beginning of the research group, we have the RBox workbook. If we go into it, we will see the actual deployment of this workbook. So you can see it's deployed as part of the full automation. There's nothing that you have to do manually afterwards.
Hmm.
And if we open this workbook, we will see the actual visualization and the actual diagrams that you get as part of this workbook.
And Laura, as part of DevOps, like we mentioned in the previous episodes that we had as part of this video series, there are many components that we are deploying, right?
Yeah.
We've been thinking about DevOps in a way that, okay, let's try to provide really a DevOps-like experience or an SRE-like experience with some technologies that Arc can enable or Arc providing as part of the solution. So, how did you came up with thinking about all these components that we included as part of the automation? What was the thought process there?
So as part of the full version that we already had, we included as part of it already things that were related to Kubernetes, because one of the main challenges that we see in operations,
Mhm.
especially when we do hybrid, is that you end up in silos. A silo for on-prem, a silo for VMs, and a silo for your container environments. You may have
Mhm.
different tools, different solutions that you may be using to manage all of that. So we wanted to include as part of the workbook as much thing as possible that you could do as part of those unified operations, independently of the hosting platform and independently of the type of infrastructure that you were using. So it
Mhm.
was very relevant for IT pros to, or for the full version, to include not only VM monitoring, but also include things like, is a pod being restarted? Am I getting a lot of pods loopbacks, or is it getting um, pending pods and things of that nature? So monitoring data, alerting, and security related, not only for the VM side of things, but also for containers. And for DevOps, what we did was stay or keep all of the things that were relevant for a container environment.
So show me some of the stuff that we can see right off the bat, like when it comes to the workbook for DevOps.
Yeah, so the first thing that you will get is these three tabs that you see here. It
Mhm.
will allow you to navigate through the workbook, and you will get all of the information completely organized without having a huge amount of information. You can go to the specific sections to manage your inventory, your monitoring data and alerting, and
Mhm.
then all of the security related information.
Okay, so one of the things, Lara, that I really like about the workbook solution and the fact that we had all these, well, no pun intended, those solutions that are embedded into it or connected to it, like you mentioned, Defender and policy, and all the things that we included. One of the things that I really like about that, and I'm coming back to the Landing Zone Accelerator release that we also had in this build, the new Landing Zone Accelerator for Azure Arc Enabled Kubernetes. And we always said that our box, even though it's designed to be somewhat of a sandbox, it can be expanded, right, or expanded to your production environment. And I think that the workbook is a great example to how you can actually leverage something that is coming from our box, aka a sandbox automation solution, but take it to your production workloads.
Yeah, exactly. So this workbook, it's completely generalized. So if you want to import it in your own environment, you can use it, and it can be a good starting point for you to get these queries, these alerts, these graphics, and have a like a basis for you to build your own workbook. And it's also very tailored in its own way. So even if you're using Artbox, for example, you can select different subscriptions. I can select mine. You can different pick and choose different resources group, not only the one where you have Artbox deployed,
Mhm.
but you can also get, for example, the inventory for other resources groups. And you also have the option, as with pretty much any other workbook,
Mhm.
to edit it out, select it, and add additional queries, add additional things that are relevant to you. So, for example, if you wanted to have an additional tab for, I don't know, compliance or GitOps or something like that, you can
Mhm.
absolutely create a separate tab and customize it to whatever it is that you wanted for your production environment.
So this is a pretty comprehensive solution. I mean, at the end of the day, providing something that is, yes, it is RBox oriented in the sense of what we develop, but it still can be used against other resources out of the same kind that you have in other subscription, other resource group across the board. So that's pretty cool. And the last thing you can also pin that to your homepage in the portal. Just kind of use that and whatever tiles that may be to customize your look there with the
Yeah.
homepage for Azure.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can pin that, have it as part of your dashboard, and have your operational team to
Mhm.
have that as the landing page for your access to the portal for sure.
So, Laura, that was a pretty short and sweet demo, and obviously we encourage people to go and check the workbook as well. We also have, right, Laura, we also have a dedicated README for just the workbook inside RBox DevOps README because there's a lot to cover. There is a
Yeah.
lot of things that we included in this workbook, and obviously that demo was short and sweet, but there's so much more to for our users to take a look at. So we highly recommend to go and check this out. Obviously, we'll include everything in the description below. So, Laura, before we're signing off, how do people get in touch with you to talk to you about RBox, Jumpstart, Arc, the workbook, everything in between?
You can reach out to me through the email address that you saw at the right hand corner of the demo. That's my corporate email address. Or for sure, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm always up there, so you can check it out there and reach out to me through a DM. No problem.
That's awesome. Thank you, Laura. And for the Jumpstart viewers, thank you so much for watching this episode of RBox Nuts and Bolts video series as part of Jumpstart Lightning. Please make sure that you're liking and subscribing this video because it helps us tremendously to grow the channel, making sure that we're providing you more content, more awesome stuff from from the Jumpstart team and other people from the community like we had previously. So thank you so much, Laura, for joining me in this episode. Thank you for all the hard work on developing this cool workbook and monitoring solution as part of RBox. And for the viewers, we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.